Good morning. And it is a good morning, even if I didn't get much sleep. I'll talk a little bit about that after I read the title and the blurb. The OPPT may have international enforcement. Yesterday, I listened to a radio program from Tonawanda, New York, called The Morning Brew with host Gwen Caldwell. That happened on Thursday, April 18th, 2013. I do provide the link and the details on how to access that. She was having an OPP roundtable with Brian Kelly, Bob Wright, and Seraphim L. I don't have the details that they shared memorized, but it was really good news. They received word that the mechanisms for enforcement have been revealed through the Office of International Provost Marshals. Today I wanted to give you a brief heads up so that you can listen if you choose. I am sure there will be more on Freedom Range with Lisa Harrison and crew on Monday evening, 7 to 9 p.m. New York time. And that's all of my blurb, and I do provide the link actually for this coming Monday's podcast as well on Blog Talk Radio. Anyway, I went to hear my son play last night at the Kilted Mermaid, and once again it was an amazing performance of the Brevard Busking Coalition. Once again, the audience was really into it. I mean, I looked around the room toward the conclusion at the people standing and dancing and smiling from ear to ear. One man told me that he had heard them for the first time, and it really I can't remember the exact phrase that he used. It was really uplifting for him. It changed, I think he said something even, it changed his life. That's quite a statement, but it certainly was an uplifting experience. But prior to that, I had listened in the afternoon. I actually listened to two of the programs on Morning Brew, one of them from Wednesday and one of them from Thursday. The Wednesday one I thought was the right one, and then I realized they didn't say what I was told it was going to say. That is, it talks about enforcement, Ron. And I wanted to hear that, so I took time in the afternoon before I went down to Vero Beach. I took time to listen to that, and I wish I had time to hear it this morning. I didn't get very much sleep, as you can imagine, to listen a second time, so I'm going from memory as best I can. I do want to say that if I recall correctly, the news about the enforcement didn't happen till somewhat into the interview. It was not the first thing. I think, if I remember right, they talked about following your dream and doing what you love to do. I think they were talking about that more or less at the beginning of the program before they shared the news about the OPPT. Now, let me also add, I'm not an expert on the OPPT, but I do try my best to pay attention to what is being said and what is being revealed. And the OPPT in March was actually closed. In other words, there is no hierarchy. All the hierarchy was banished. There is no organization or anything that you can join or anything like that. It is a set of principles, basically, that have been set in motion to turn our world around, to give the people an opportunity, if they choose it, to live in a new paradigm reality, in a really, really, really good new world order that has taken the place, or is taking the place, of the new world order, which was nothing but an old world order on steroids of domination and control and human slavery. Well, the OPPT was a mechanism, a tool provided by the three trustees that gives us the opportunity to become free on planet Earth and create the new heaven and the new earth that we've been longing for and that we've been told about by our spiritual leaders and various spiritual traditions and for a long time. The prophecies, it's the mechanism of the prophecies actually coming to pass without without there being a war. And one of the things that was emphasized is that this process is intended to occur without taking anyone's life, without bloodshed, without killing anyone. Nobody knows for sure how it will actually pan out. That's hard to say. But Brian is like the news person responsible in the world to bring this news to people, if I remember him correctly. But it's being done through the family that controls it's an Asian family in Indonesia that controls 80% of the world's gold and is financially backing the military worldwide through the office of the Provost Marshal. And the Provost Marshal has the authority to arrest anyone, and I can remember Brian saying, including the President of the United States. The Provost Marshal can walk in and arrest Obama, and that's true, I'm sure, of senators and congressmen and people that are heads of corporations and heads of other countries around the world that are still trying to implement the old world order, or the new world order plan of the old elite, the powers that used to be, that are being given the opportunity through the OPPT and through this awakening. They're being given the opportunity to come over to the side that works, the side that works for everybody, that everyone has sovereignty, everyone has freedom, and each one's freedom ends where the next person's begins, which is what we've all wanted for, whether we know it or not. It's what our soul has been wanting to create on earth, and the mechanisms of that creation, that co-creation, seem to be in place as the financial backing of the military to do its duty, not to obey the orders of those that want to impose controls on everybody else, but to at least give those people a chance to really think about what they're doing by arresting them. And how it's going to play out, I don't know. And again, like I said, I did not go back, and I did not have time this morning when I got up to go back and listen to yesterday's recording from the archives of the what was the radio station called? Let me go back and look at that. I have it somewhere here. Oh, it's the Orion Talk Radio Network. And news and views beyond the mainstream media. So that's another little bit of information that you might need to know that you have the right thing. But again, I provided the link to this radio program archive, and I also provided the link to Lisa Harrison's Freedom Reigns program that will happen this coming Monday night, when I'm sure that you'll be given more information. But this was very, very good news insofar as providing us with information on the mechanism and the goings-on behind the scenes, because the people that control the greatest wealth in the world have backed the OPPT plan, if you will, to bring freedom to the whole entire world. Now, it's going to be a process. It's not snap your fingers and it's done. Obviously, there's going to be some resistance, and the intent of the people that are in charge is to not have to kill people in order to implement this new, really, really good new world order. And it's being done through the UN, and for some people that's going to ring bells. But look at folks, the mechanisms and the organization and the structure that is in place. All that needs to really happen to change it is it needs to have new leadership. And leadership doesn't mean someone that dictates something, although in a sense the money is what's going to be dictating it, because the financial backing is what's going to make it all possible. And so I was quite excited to hear this, and I think other people will be too. And I'm sure, like with everything else, there will be people that will say, well, it's just the plan, another plan of the elite. Don't fall for it. I'm sure that there's going to be that kind of comment, because people really expect there to be more bad stuff, because that's all the stuff we've ever known is bad stuff. We've only ever known a world of control, a world of megalomaniacs and psychopaths and sociopaths that rule the world, and they do it by force. They do it by dominating others and taking away others' free will, and making the choices and imposing rules and regulations on others. Well, as this is implemented, it's going to be doing it using the old system, if you will, of finance and money and wealth. And it's still going to be wealth that speaks, but there are actually powerful, wealthy people on earth that want to do the right thing. Now, that may be hard for some of you to believe, but you're going to have to deal with it, because there are many changes that are in the works. This cosmic chess game continues to go forward, and it's going to be revealed step by step, day by day, here a little, there a little, and you're going to watch it. We all have front row seats watching it unfold if we choose to look at the places where it's being revealed. And Freedom Reigns is one of those places, and of course Lisa Harrison's other program on Tuesday nights. Let me go to that page. The Collective Imagination. Hopefully that doesn't start. No, it won't start the video or the audio. But anyway, there's going to be more information. Stay tuned. This is probably the most exciting information that's being revealed on the earth. It's the true news behind the news. And I wanted to bring to you what I have come in contact with at this point. It's only the beginning announcements, basically, of actual enforcement on earth to bring about what we've wanted, what works for everybody, and it will be ultimately fulfilling the ancient prophecies of the Mayans and other ancient cultures. It will be working as closely as possible within the current structures as we develop and co-create the new structures together. And the new structure ultimately is going to be a cashless society, because we're not going to need cash, because the value that exists on earth is the value in human beings, and the value in resources. That's things that exist, not artificial. It's not going to be the world of the lie anymore. Ultimately, we're moving away from the lie and into absolute truth, and that's what has been emphasized again and again by Heather and by others in the OPPT movement. And for people that have lived on the lie, that's going to be really, really bad news. But ultimately, even those people are going to see, hey, it really is nicer to have a world that we don't have to live in fear, that we don't have to be watching behind our back to see who's coming or who's threatening. We're going to have a world that literally is the world that we've been promised by the prophets and the seers from the time immemorial. We've been prophesied another golden age, and that golden age, we're creating it right now. We're watching it happen. So that's all I'm going to share at this point. It's only 14 minutes, but I'm not going to go on anymore. I don't know anymore. But I do thank you for listening once again, and I do encourage you to go and listen to the archive broadcast from Thursday the 18th. I did this right? Yes, Thursday the 18th, because at the end of that broadcast, there's some really good news. So that's all I'm going to say. Namaste. Have a beautiful day.